this is Jan Hibbert from Log Cabin Leather, and I'm here in the basement of my log cabin home where I make all my handmade leather products. Today I'm here to tell you about placing custom orders, but before I get to that, let me introduce myself a little bit for those of you who don't know me. Once again, my name is Jan Hibbert. I've been making handmade leather products since 1977. The vest that I am wearing right here is the very first leather product I ever made. It is now 44 years old, and still going strong, still being worn, still holding up. My products are built to last. This is another very old product of mine. This is my catalog. This is the first item I ever hand laced. It is leather lacing. Everything I make is leather. The only things that I don't make are the hardware and the pieces that jewelry findings and metal brackets and things like that I don't make. Buckles for belts, but everything I make is made from leather. There are no imitation. Obviously, the inserts are not leather and things like that, but the covers are 100% leather. So again, that is 43 years old. As far as so my things are built to last. I do custom pictures. That's kind of what I specialize in, making one-of-a-kind pictures on things. If you've seen some of my stuff before. What I specialize in making most, I would say, is book covers. I make all different size book covers, so I'll talk about how to size that. My most popular item, however, has been belts for years because I custom fit the belts. There aren't too many places where you can get the perfectly fitting belt in the width you need and the length you want. So custom fit belts, the buckles you want, buckles movable, things like that. So belts, I'm going to talk a little bit about guitar straps as well. Let me start with the belts though, being those are my best seller. Now I make belts in all widths for people of all sizes. I specialize in a lot of unique hand tool designs, and these are my own original designs that I have on these belts. A lot of them I demonstrate at craft shows and things as I'm making them, and I'm creating them on the spot, just by picking up tools and stamping things in and making a repetitive pattern. They're all patterns. My solid color belts are all pre-dyed from the factory. I do have videos that talk about the differences in the leathers and things like that. These are all vegetable tan leathers, all the belts. Pre-dyed from the factory just because it makes the color more uniform. I have and they are all solid pieces of leather. They are one thick piece of leather. They are not sewn together because they are a solid piece of leather. And I have belts in a 1/2 inch width all the way up to 2-inch width. Sizing to whatever you want. I've made belts for children in 20 and something inch up to a 72-inch width. So I can do what you want. So now to find out the size. Now obviously if it's a gift for somebody, you need to try to get a hold of a belt. If the person is there, it's for yourself. You can measure it on your body. So again, if you have an old belt and it fits and it's a size you want or whatever, you're going to go by that. Now this is a very, very old belt of my husband. And it used to be a lot longer than that because the holes go right to the end. And generally a belt wouldn't have this many holes in it. So I'm not sure what happened here. Again, he was wearing it on this hole because he's gained weight, and clearly that is not going to fit him anymore. So how a belt should be sized is how it should fit is if you have a belt on, the belt should be able to go. These buckles, it goes through the back of the buckle, so that holds it in. But for most people, I want it to go through this belt loop here. Now, see, my husband likes it shorter than that. But it should go through that loop. So this should be the last hole on this belt. What I want you to tell me is what hole you're going to buckle it on. So, again, ideally on this one, this should be the hole that the person wears it on. Should be right here. And therefore there's going to be 2 holes either way. So if this was a hole he wore it on and they wore it the smaller sizes, it's still going to go through those loops. If they wore it on the bigger sizes, then it's not going to be so much that it's going to flap because this loop is going to catch it, and it's not going to be so much that it's going to flap out over here. So that's how the sizing works. If you want it sized a different way, now my husband again likes it shorter than that. He likes it so he doesn't have very many holes. He really wants this to be about the hole he wears it on, so there isn't very much of a tab that sticks out there at all. I mean, and that's not how I would recommend doing it. But again, that's how he wants it. If that's what the customer wants, that's what the customer gets. So if you're placing an order, I'm going to need your email, and I am going to email you back and forth, working on things like right now I'm working on this window hanging for a person, and they had given me dimensions, and first I was thinking, the plaque was going to go this way, and it was going to have a certain mountain behind it, which is based on something they see Mount Major from their summer place or their house, and so that was going to be in the background and so forth. So they sent me a picture of that. So I was thinking the picture was going this way. Well, they wanted the picture to go this way. So obviously that changes what it's going to look like, things like that, So I'm going to email you back and forth. What do you think of this? Right now, I had done some trees in the background, and they said they wanted those to be smaller because they didn't want those to be the emphasis of the picture. They wanted, the loons, which are going to be in the front, to be, things like that. So I'm going to email you back and forth. I'm going to make sure you're happy. If you're not sure of the sizing right away and you need to get back with me, that's fine. Most orders, I can do something like a belt or something, in less than a week. Something like a book cover, it may be a week, 2 weeks at most. If I think it's going to be longer than that, I will let you know. And the only reason that would be is at certain times of the year. This past year, again, I didn't have any craft shows, so I really didn't have things that were inhibiting me from taking the orders or working on the orders. Now I do have some craft shows kicking up this year again. So, occasionally there might be dates where it might be a little bit slower to place an order, but I'm going to be upfront with you as much as I can and correspond back and forth and make sure you get the item you want. Book covers, again, lots of book covers I've made. What you need to do is measure the book, the front this way, and then I need to know the size of the binding. Pockets and things like that. So that's all there is to it. The front cover, both directions, and the width of the binding. And then I can pretty much make a cover to fit that it's going to slide in, so it's going to have a little bit of room on either side, things like that. If you have any other questions about custom orders, feel free to ask them. I'd be glad to answer them, or any other questions you have. If you want to get the best deals on things, you want to join my email. If you're on Facebook, there's a link right at the top of my, in the header image. It says, or the cover image, become a VIP insider, email insider. That's the link there. On other platforms, the link should be there somewhere. If you join my email, you get usually 20% discount on your first order. You also get previews and input into my product lines. I ask questions and things like that when I'm developing new product lines. When my product lines come out, you get first dibs on the items in the collection. Now, most of my things are one of a kind. When I make a book cover, I don't make two book covers that are, similar with the same picture on it and things like that. So they're one of a kind. So if you're on my email, which comes out generally on Thursday, consistently there's an email every Thursday. Sometimes there might be a little email blast to remind you of something else going on, but, those are short. The email on Thursday tells you about things that are happening. If I have a sale's usually happening on Saturdays. You get dibs on the sale or the product launch prior to anyone else. Like I have a new product that launches April 2nd, but you'll be able to see it the day before. I have a preview party. You can purchase things from the collection then before it's even offered to the public, so that, again, it's a limited edition. So you have dibs on them before maybe other people do. So those are some of the advantages to the email. Again, I send one out every Thursday, a couple email blasts here and there to remind you about other special events. The last Saturday of the month, I have a trunk sale, things like that. So, a few other emails on the different events. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for now. Once again, this is Jan Hibbard, Log Cabin Leather by Jan. Please join my email and follow me on my journey with my leatherwork. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.